So, Stephen, in your book, Enlightenment Now, and other works, you've been tarred and feathered, so to speak, as an optimist. I mean, you make the case that things are improving, and there's a number of public intellectuals who make the same sort of argument. Bjorn Lomborg, for example, and Matt Ridley, Marian Tupy, all have detailed ways that the world has improved dramatically especially over the last 30 years, but certainly over the last 150. And yet we seem to be polarizing terribly at the moment. And so what do you think is driving that, given that, arguably things are better than they have been?
Yeah, I tend to try to squirm out of the optimist pigeonhole, because I'm not arguing for looking on the bright side and seeing the glass is half full, but rather just basing your understanding of the world on data rather than journalism. The problem with journalism being that it is a highly non-random sample of the worst things that have happened in any given period. It is an availability machine in the sense of Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman's availability heuristic, namely our sense of risk and danger and prevalence is driven by anecdotes and images and narratives that are available in memory. Whereas since a lot of good things are either things that don't happen, like a country at peace or a city that has not been attacked by terrorists, which almost by definition are not news, or are things that build up incrementally, a few percentage points a year and then compound, like the decline of extreme poverty, we can be unaware, we could be out to lunch about what's happening in the world if we base our view on the news. If instead we base our view on data, then not only do we see that many, although not all things, have gotten better, not linearly, not without setbacks and reversals, but in general, a lot better. And it also, paradoxically, because as I've also cheekily put it, progressives hate progress. But the best possible case for progress, that is for striving for more progress in the future, for being a true progressive, is, again, not to have some kind of foolish hope, but to look at the fact that progress has taken place in the past. And that means, why should it stop now? We know that it's possible. So that's the...
Do you think that it's a reasonable thing to do from a rational perspective to compare the present to the past rather than to, there is a tendency to compare the present to a utopian future. And that's kind of a cognitive heuristic, because we're always looking for ways to make things better. And I suppose that's that tendency taken to its extreme. But it does seem to me that some of the decrying of the current situation is a consequence of comparing it to hypothetical utopia instead of actual, other countries or other times.
Yeah, utopia is a deeply dangerous concept, because people imagine a world without any problems. And since people disagree with each other, that means that in order to have complete harmony and agreement, you've got to get rid of all those nuisances, those people who are not on board with your plans for utopia, which is, of course, why it's been the utopians that have been the most genocidal regimes in history. Yeah.
So